How many banks do you actually need? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? But seriously, in today's world, how many banks do you actually need and what is the optimum amount? Now, I have built a bulletproof system that is proven to work for anyone watching this right now. Now, it works on absolutely anyone, from people struggling with debt to earning multi-millions of pounds, and everyone in between. Why? Well, because one thing we don't do enough as Britons is give every single pound a job. We get paid, we pay our bills, and then potentially put some money into a savings account, and like clockwork, we're dipping back in every single time each month. Over 66% of us have less than £1,000 saved, so surely there's a way of maximising our money so we're not skint at the end of the month. Well, luckily for you, there is. In this video, I'm going to run you through my 3-bank system, which will help you get the most out of your money. Now, yes, 3 banks are optimum, but they all have different jobs which are pretty key, so listen up and let's get this party started, shall we? According to a 2022 KPMG UK survey, 31% of respondents said they had 2 banks, 19% said they had 3, and 12% said they had 4 or more. This is an increase from 2.5 bank accounts in 2014 to 2.8 in 2022. The reason for this is people like splitting their money so they feel that they have more control of it. But with the rise of digital banking, it's now easier to swap money from account to account than it is for me to get up in the morning. Among the general public, those that have said they have never visited a branch has risen from 8% to 15%. And those that have said that they've hardly ever, if ever at all, been to their bank rose from 27 to 36%. So we can safely say that over half of Britons have hardly ever, or if ever at all, actually been into a bank before. But harking back to that figure of 66% of people have less than £1,000 saved, it's safe to say that the rise in digital banking isn't helping people manage their money correctly. And look, I'm absolutely no stranger to this. I used to do exactly this. I would literally be standing in a queue waiting to buy the thing, and I'd say transfer 20 quid over from my current account to another current account using the app. Now, the problem with this is basically what would happen is I put 20 quid over, and let's say the basket cost me £15.99. Suddenly I've got £4 sitting in my account. And then when it went to happen the next time, I didn't remember basically I had that £4, and I'd do the 20 quid again and the 20 quid again. And basically I was just not counting my pounds and looking after every single one, which is exactly what we need to be able to do. And trust me, look, if that's £20 a month, £240 a year that's going through, and realistically it's likely to be a lot faster than that. So what can we actually do about it? Well, enter the 3-bank system. Now, before we dive into this, what I will say is being loyal to one bank because, say, mum and dad have been them with their whole lives is just holding you back. Just by switching over a current account right now with the CAS or current account switching service, you can actually get up to £200 in some cases. I've seen ones for 150, 175. And the good thing about this is they literally take care of everything for you. All your direct debits, all the things that you need get transferred over using this system. Right, first up, we'll cover what the banks do, and then we'll get into how you actually use them. Now, bank number 1, this is where you get paid into, and it's also your monthly spending account. Bank number 2, this is where you pay your bills out of. All your direct debits, they come out like clockwork from this account. And bank number 3, this is for your savings. You should be getting a high interest savings account open so you can maximize the amount of money that you're getting back from your savings in interest. Now, as you can see, the 3 banks, they all have different jobs, but this is where it starts to get interesting. Now, step number 1, you get paid. Woohoo! Yes, you got your money in your account. It's your hard-earned money. You have earned this money. Take a look at it. How much is in your account? And step number 2, this is very important, and this is where it actually gets super interesting. You do something called paying yourself first. Now, I want you to literally take that money and put it into your savings account first. Paying yourself first. You are more important than your bills. Don't not pay your bills, but pay yourself first so you get the most out of your savings, and also just putting yourself first will set you up for financial success later on. Now, step number 3 is critical, and this is obviously paying your bills. You need to make sure you've done a budget and know exactly how much money you're moving into bank number 2. Now, what you do here is, let's say, for example, your expenses are £1,500 a month. What you do is you put a little bit of contingency on top, so say £1,600 a month. And then basically all your direct debits, all your subscriptions, all of your regular fixed bills are coming out of this account. And it should happen like clockwork. And step number 4, the money left over that's sitting in bank number 1, this is your money for living off. It's your monthly expenditure. Whatever's left in here is it. So you've got to make it count. And just by doing that, those 4 steps will absolutely change the way you're looking at money. You are literally giving every single pound that you earn a job. Now, a little hack here is with that monthly amount that you've actually got left over, let's say it's £800, you actually break that down into weekly expenditure. So let's say there's 4 weeks in that month, you know you've got 200 quid each week to get by. If you run out of money at that point, then realistically it should be it. You shouldn't be dipping back into your savings at that point. So you need to try and master your spending as you go along. And yes, I know that sounds pretty raw, but realistically we're not including our savings and our bills money is part of our actual spending each month. So make it count. Now, next we're going to discuss a 4th bank, a bonus bank, once you've got this system working. But if you are struggling to save, or you keep dipping into your savings like clockwork every month, like we were talking about before, then add this step into your 3-bank system and it will change absolutely everything for you. Now, what you do is with bank number 1, you own the card and the app for this account. The reason being is this is where you're spending out of. You can have Apple Pay on it, you can have the debit card, and you can use it just like you would with your normal banks right now. Bank number 2, we don't own the card for this account. When it arrives, cut it up or put it somewhere where you're definitely not going to use it, give it to a loved one or something like that. We do own the app for this because we will need to set up the direct debits with our bills and our providers and our subscriptions out there that we're going to need. But bank number 3, this is where you stop yourself dipping into your savings. You don't own the card and you don't own the app. Get the number of the bank to your account number and your sort code and simply set up a direct debit from your bank number 1. So when you get paid, you're paying yourself first, that money goes into bank number 3, but you don't own the card or the app for this. Basically what this is going to do is it's going to put a little step and it's going to stop you from accessing that money. You are literally going to have to pick up the phone and phone the bank or actually go into branch. And just by doing that, that little blocker, it's going to just make you think about whether or not you actually really need to be dipping into your savings. So the bonus bank number 4. Now this account is for investing. Now, the reason we want to look at investing is we want to try and grow our wealth over the long term. Now, when you open this type of account, I would always look at a stocks and shares ISA. You can put up to £20,000 per tax year into a stocks and shares ISA, and any money that you make, any interest, any gains, any dividends that you have from that account are completely tax-free. It's 100% your money. Now, when you're looking to invest, definitely do some research into the topic, but for beginners out there, starting with something very simple like a global index fund or an S&P 500 tracker fund is a great place to start. Now, you would treat this account exactly like you're pay yourself first, but you would basically allocate money to your savings and investments in one go. So very simply, let's say you've got £100 and you decide 60% is going to go to my savings and 40% is going to go to my investments. So £60 into my savings account, which is bank number 3, and £40 into my investing account, which is bank number 4. Now, to work this out and do this properly, you need to put a system in place. And I have a rule, it's called the 5-year rule, and I absolutely love it. And it just works. Basically, any money that you need in the next 5 years for your short-term savings goals, that could be saving for a house, a new car, or a holiday, this money is saved. So even if you think you might need it, this money is saved into a high interest savings account in bank number 3. But any money that you are happy to contribute for 5 years or more, this is the money that you put into your investment account. The reason being is we don't want to take any risk with the money with 5 years or less, but we're happier to take a little bit more risk with the money that we don't need for 5 years or more. When you invest, you need to have a long-term horizon. So this is why we do the 5-year rule. It really does work, guys. Try it out. Now, guys, when you start to pay yourself, you need to have your allocations absolutely locked down. And the only way to do that is a rock-solid budget. That's why I think my next video, Budgeting for Beginners, which is coming up on screen right now, is the perfect next step for you guys. We'll see you guys over there. It's been a pleasure. Peace.